What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to Covering the Commanders with Josh Taylor. And we finally have the full 2026 schedule. And of course, me and my guy Rio reacted to the full schedule last night. So stay tuned after this video and I will connect that live stream link at the very end of this video. So be sure to check that out as well. But I had to talk about my top 5 observations from the schedule because there's a lot to unpack here. Whether it's trends, storylines, or just matchups to watch, there is a lot that can just determine the outcome of the season and what I think is a potential playoff run for the Commanders once again, going back to that 2024 season. But guys, make sure you are subscribed to the new channel as I rebuild this thing, man. I'm just thankful already for the support that y'all have given me for this new channel. And we're already almost monetized, and it hasn't even been a full month yet. We're just days away from a full month since I launched the channel. So make sure y'all subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and push it out to other Washington fans that are still trying to find my new stuff. But guys, let's jump into it. Like I said, top 5 observations for the Commanders' schedule. And if you missed it, if you forgot about the drop last night at 8 o'clock, I've got you covered. And of course, the team put out a graphic as well with the 2026 schedule. Let's do a quick rundown before I get to my top 5 observations. Week 1 on the road against the Eagles, and then another NFC East game. Week 2 on the road against the Cowboys. Week 3, the home opener against the Super Bowl champs, the Seattle Seahawks. And then we're going to London, bro. Week 4 against the Indianapolis Colts. Definitely trying to go to that game. That is circled for me. Week 4 in October in London. It's probably going to be cold and rainy, but I don't care. I want to be there. And then another NFC East game, the third one in 5 weeks, which is unheard of. The first home NFC East game for us, week 5 against the Giants. Then week 6, we're going to the West Coast to take on the 49ers on Monday Night Football, which might be a Brandon Ayuk game by that point. We don't know. And then a bye week in week 7, which I'm definitely going to talk about. Week 8, we have the Eagles at home on Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football. And then the Rams at home, week 9 at 1 o'clock. Definitely going to talk about that as well. And the Giants on Thursday Night Football, week 10 on the road. And the one matchup I was dying for, Monday Night Football. Monday night, the Cincinnati Bengals, week 11, the rematch in 2024. Joe Burrow versus Jaden Daniels. And then we go back out west. Perfect timing, honestly. Right at the end of November, we're going to Arizona. It's going to be perfect temperature. And then following that up, week 13 with a road trip to Nashville, a.k.a. Cashville, the Broadway. Look, that might be the away game to go to this season. And then 2 straight home games against some tough opponents, but the AFC South, I think the best team, the Texans, week 14 at home, and then week 15 against the Falcons. I don't know why we have the Falcons literally every single year. We are just married to them at this point. And then 2 road games again, week 16 at Minnesota with the Vikings, and then at Jacksonville, week 17 against the Jaguars. Once again, we're avoiding all the heat on the road. Thank God. Arizona's later in the season. Jacksonville's later in the season. Excellent. You just got to put up with the snow if you're going to Minnesota. And then ending the season, we don't know the exact day yet, but week 18 at home against the Cowboys. That is how you end the season. But if you take a look at this schedule, and I'll bounce back and forth between the graphic and my ugly mug, there's one thing that I want to start out with, and that is that the Commanders have to start strong themselves. Got to start strong. And I also saw last night that they have the 3 preseason games. It's the Dolphins at home, and then at Detroit, at Ravens, I want to say it is. And they have a joint practice scheduled with the Dolphins. But that goes into this. You got to start strong. Because like I said, you open up on the road against the Eagles and then against the Cowboys. That is unheard of. Not even just 2 road games, but 2 road NFC East games against the 2 best teams outside of Washington, who's the best one, obviously, in the NFC East. And they're both America's Game of the Week. We're going to be getting Tom Brady on Fox week 1, 425. Tom Brady on Fox 425, again, week 2 against the Cowboys. 2 back-to-back games of the week. in critical NFC East matchups. You got to win one of those. I don't want to be one of those people like, oh, week 1 is a must win. But when you got 2 road NFC East games, you got to win one of those. I don't want to go into the Seahawks games like, yo, we're 0-2, man. What the heck? This is the home opener. We'll see what happens. Heck no. Matter of fact, win me both of those. Come back home, protect the crib with 2 straight road dubs in the NFC East. That's what I'm looking for. But I don't want to see any more of these lazy practices. I don't want to see any more of these veteran rest days and players not playing in the preseason. We should have known last year when the Patriots dog walked us at the joint practice, and then every preseason game seemed like we were playing a whole different sport. It was awful. It was awful. We need this team with all the new coordinators, David Blau, Durante Jones, all the new players, all the free agents, all the rookies. Jaden Daniels going under center for the majority of the offense for the first time of his career. He has barely gone under center since he was in like high school. They need to get right and make sure they are battle ready. Because it's not even just the Eagles and the Cowboys, but that Seahawks game. And then you're going on a road trip to London against a good Colts team. So I don't want none of that slow start. I don't want none of those rest days and, oh, training camp was just a little jog through today. Of course, they're going to have their walkthroughs and stuff like that. But I need to see some changes. I need to see differences. Washington has to start the season strong. Please, for the love of God. But I think this is the time you want to play the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles are going to be ready. I don't care if it's in Philly. I don't care about their fan base. I don't care about their crowd. I don't care about the home field advantage. I don't care about how hostile it is. I don't care that it's week 1 in the season kickoff. Jalen Hurts has a new coordinator with Sean Mannion. And I promise you, A.J. Brown is not going to be on that roster week 1. I don't think they're going to be ready for how improved the defense is going to be. I don't think they're going to be ready for Jaden Daniels back in full form, in a better offense with better weapons and a better supporting cast. I don't think they're ready for that. I think they're going to be figuring out their own defense and they're going to be figuring out their own offense and leaning on Saquon too much. I don't think they're going to be ready. Now, the Cowboys game, that's a different story. I think the Cowboys are better than the Eagles, but you got to start the season strong. Number 2, the NFL still loves the Kid 5, Jaden Daniels, because if you look at the schedule, look, I don't know how many people remember how many primetime games we had last season, but as someone who is a beat writer and covers this team and had to work about 3 hours after each game, I cannot tell you how sick and tired I got of writing about another 20 to 30 point loss at 2, 3 a.m. Way too many primetime games. Too many primetime games. I thought they were going to snatch our chain and say, y'all ain't getting a single one next year. But they said, hold up. We forgot. Guys, they still got Jaden Daniels. We know we didn't see him at the end of the season, but they still got Jaden Daniels. San Francisco is the first primetime game, week 6, Monday Night Football, on the road. Beautiful. At home against the Eagles, Sunday Night Football, has to do it. Thursday Night Football against the Giants, it just seems right. That's it. That is a Giants-Commanders game. Thursday Night Football on the road, week 10. And then the Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, LSU Heisman winning quarterbacks, the rematch from 2024, just a marquee matchup, Monday Night Football at home, week 11. So we got 2 road primetime games and 2 home primetime games. And then we have an international game. Now, I know international is growing and stuff like that, but not every team gets an international game. Once again, last year, we didn't get to see Jaden Daniels against the Dolphins. It was not the game that we hoped it was going to be, and they still lost that game. But they said, look, we want Jaden Daniels on the billboards in London. We want him all over the Tottenham Spur Stadium. We want Jaden's face plastered. The NFL still loves Jaden Daniels, and they should. They know he is a young face of this league. You just can't say, oh, well, after all the injuries, we're out on Jaden. That's not the case, man. That's not the case. And speaking of London, my third point is that the Commanders don't have a bye week after London. So when the leaks came out, and I was reporting this, a week ago, that the Commanders were playing the Colts week 4, I was like, hold up, they're really about to have a week 5 bye week and then go on a 13-week stretch with no rest in a tough schedule. I was not looking forward to that. I was actually afraid. I don't care who you put with us, when, where. I don't care if we're playing in the desert. I don't care if we're playing in the ocean. But that bye week means something. And even players came out. Even Jeremy Reeves came out and said, I don't want a week 5 bye. And I'm glad they didn't get one. I'm glad they didn't get one. And I'm not sure how that works. I don't know if they get to pick or if the NFL picks. I'm pretty sure the team has a say in it. But teams usually want that bye week after the international game. But they said, look, we have it week 7. So instead of a 13-game stretch, it is much more reasonable. You got it 2 weeks later instead. But the thing is, coming back from London, you got an NFC East matchup at home against the Giants. So regardless of how that Eagles and Cowboys game finishes out to start the season, you got that Giants game coming back. You cannot be jet lagged. Matter of fact, they better fly back right after the game and get right. They play at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. It ain't gonna be 9:30 in London. But they better get on that jet right as soon as that clock hits 0. Ain't nobody even taking a shower. You are getting on that jet, stanking and everything. I don't care. Laremy Tunsil, I don't care how hard you're playing, my guy. I need you on that jet when that clock hits 0. Ain't nobody taking a shower after the game. You have to use that entire time to get back and get ready. Everybody. Jaden, I want you running off the field like everybody. Like a hostile football game on Last Chance U. Like, everybody get on the bus. We ain't worried about nothing else. I need everybody back in the U.S. immediately, because you cannot come back and lose at home to the Giants. God, for a 1 o'clock kickoff nonetheless on a Sunday. It's just a 7-day period. You got to get back and get right. But I was glad to see that they have that bye week after a long travel to San Francisco on the road. You come back, you get the bye week, then you get the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. So you got some time. You got a little bit of time. It's going to feel like forever. We play on October 19th, and then we don't play again until November 1st. That's going to feel like an eternity. But for the rest, for injuries, for everything, for this team to be durable for a playoff run, I'm glad that's how it happened. Now, my fourth point. The Commanders have a strong advantage against 2 NFC West opponents that I honestly was not looking forward to playing. And that is the Seahawks week 3 and the Rams week 9. You say, Josh, how do they have an advantage? I want y'all to listen. I just want y'all to think about this. We get the Seahawks not just even as the home opener, so that place is going to be jumping. Imagine we beat the Eagles and we beat the Cowboys. We're 2-0 going in against the Seahawks. Imagine how crazy that place is going to be at 1 o'clock. I will be there at 6 a.m. Imagine how crazy that game's going to be. But the Seahawks have to travel all the way over to the East Coast from the West Coast. They're playing all the way across the country, and they're playing at 1 o'clock. You're playing at 1 o'clock. That's 10 a.m. Western time. We have seen over and over again, these West Coast teams have to go out east, take on the Giants, take on the Jets, take on the Eagles, even down in like Florida, take on the Bucs. We've seen these teams travel from the West Coast to the East Coast and play these 1 o'clock games, and they struggle. It's a 10 a.m. kick their time, and they're getting adjusted to that time change. I remember when I went to the Rose Bowl, when I went from here to Vegas and Vegas to LA, and I was there for a week, it took me 2 days to really get acclimated. That night, I felt like I was in like the twilight zone. I felt sick. I felt like I was seasick, car sick, time traveled, everything all at once. It was awful. It was awful. It took me forever to get used to that time change. But they're going to be coming here and playing a game. And neither of these teams are coming off of bye weeks. It's not like, oh, we're going to go out there early. We're going to do this. We're going to get ready. Both of these teams are coming off of games. They're not coming off of bye weeks. So the Rams and the Seahawks will have to come to the East Coast, play a 1 o'clock East Coast kickoff time, which is 10 a.m. West Coast time. And I love that. I love that. Imagine having to go play in LA. Imagine having to go play in Seattle. That was worst case scenario. I'm not saying we're gonna beat them because of that, but I'm saying that is a huge advantage. The Rams have like 7 or 8 primetime games. Thank God at LA on like a Sunday night football was not the case, because that would have been just awful. But the fact that we got them where we got them, I like the Seahawks early. I like the Rams right there in the middle-ish part of the season. But at home, 1 o'clock, guys, you have to take that into consideration. They literally gave them this is the Commanders' best chances of beating Seattle and the Rams at home. 1 o'clock kick might not mean something to everybody, but I'm telling you, it makes a major difference. Even if it was a Sunday night football game against the Seahawks, we got to get that lick back against them. Or if it was like a Monday night game at home against LA, it's still like it would not have been the same as a 1 p.m. kick. So I absolutely love that for Washington, because I hated seeing Seattle and the Rams on the schedule. I'm like, man, we already got to go through, the NFC East. We already got to go against the Bengals and some other tougher, AFC teams, and they got to go against the Texans. Like, what the heck, man? We got to play the Colts. But I love that they gave us that slight advantage. And then my 5th and final one, I said, look, there's 3 games at the end of the season that could decide the NFC playoff picture and ultimately the Commanders' season. And I'm going to bring it back up again. Look at the Falcons, Vikings, Cowboys. That Vikings game, if y'all remember 2024, toe-to-toe with Michael Penix Jr., Jaden Daniels, leading the way, carrying the team on his back, the crazy pass and catch from Zach Ertz. Like, what in the world? Sealed the playoffs. Now, at home, week 15, 1 o'clock. The Falcons, if the NFC South is what it has been, then the Falcons could be fighting for either the NFC South or a wild card spot right then in week 15. We don't know what the Saints are going to look like. We don't know what the Panthers are going to look like. We don't know what the Bucs are going to look like. Every team's a wild card at this point. We don't know who's going to look like what. But Washington, week 15, that game could ultimately decide. If Washington's like trying to get a playoff spot at this point, if they have 7, 8 wins at this point, maybe probably 7 if that's the case, and they're fighting for a playoff spot and it's against the Falcons, you got to win that one. And same with the Vikings. The NFC North is wide open. Bears are really good. Lions are really good. Packers are really good. And I think the Vikings are going to be slept on. But if Kyler Murray can get things going, they showed you that they could win some games even with J.J. McCarthy last season. So that's 2 teams out of the NFC East that could be fighting for wild card spots. The Vikings and the Falcons. But if the Commanders are in a better situation and have a better record than some people might think they will by that point, then that last game, that home closer against the Cowboys, could possibly decide the NFC East. So let's just say Washington beats the Eagles week 1, loses to the Cowboys week 2, sweeps the Giants, loses to the Eagles the second time, and it comes down to that Cowboys game to win the NFC East. Let's just say that the Eagles have a bad season. I don't think they're going to be good this year. I know it's a hot take. I think the Cowboys are actually going to be legit this year. I don't have faith in that Eagles team right now. I think they're just going through way too much. But I'm telling you, that week 18 game, can you imagine a home game at the end of the season against the Cowboys to decide the NFC East and the playoffs? That's why the schedulers did this. They said, look, it's a huge rivalry. It could possibly happen. They probably like the Cowboys more than the Eagles. They might even like us more than the Eagles if everybody stays healthy. There's people that probably do. But the scheduler said, look at this game opportunity. We got to make that happen. So I actually love the schedule. I absolutely do. I like the strong start. I want to see what this team's about. I want to see, People not like, oh, I want to play good. I want to squeak by. I want to see this team at their best. And those first 3 games, especially, will show that. And then you got some hard teams along the way, Seattle, Rams, and the 49ers and stuff like that. And then you get a stretch. Then you get a little bit of a stretch. I'll say the Bengals are a good team. Still don't trust their defense. But you get Giants, Cardinals, Titans, Falcons should be beatable. Vikings should be beatable for us. Jaguars should be beatable for us. I'm not sleeping on the Texans. I'm not sleeping on the Cowboys. And I still think the Bengals have a chance to be really good with Joe Burrow, if he can stay healthy. So they do have a little stretch there at the end where they could go on a run, a little playoff run, heat up. That's what I want. I want you to be battle tested early in the season. I want you to win some games, get you in a position to earn a playoff spot, then go on a playoff run with those last 8-9 games of the season. So that's what I think, y'all. I love these matchups. There's a lot of different factors with the primetime games, with the timing of some of the games. But I mean, if you look at just go look at other team schedules. And people don't be like, oh, they like set Washington up. I promise you they did. Go look at the Giants schedule. Go look at the Eagles schedule. Go look at everybody else's schedule. I promise you, everyone has a hard schedule this season. It's not like the NFL is just out to get Washington, but they're going to have to prove themselves and prove all this thing. They're talking about culture, talking about the changes that they made, saying these are things that needed to happen. They brought in the new coordinators. They think Dan Quinn is still the guy. I got to see something happen. And it starts with camp coming up. So guys, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because I'm going to be covering everything for y'all. Hence the name, Covering the Commanders. A little plug there. And so subscribe to the Substack as well, Covering the Commanders, and I'll be bringing a lot of written article stuff there, but also you can find my audio podcast versions of the videos there as well. And I might even just do some, random podcast rants coming up here soon that aren't on YouTube. So check that out. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Substack as well. But guys, I appreciate y'all checking out this video. Make sure you're subbed up. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way out. And like I said, here in a second, I'm going to tag that live stream that me and Rio did, really reacting to the stream, including that god-awful schedule release video that the Commanders did. So be sure to stay tuned for that, and then drop in the comments below your thoughts about the schedule, what you like, what you hate. Maybe even give me a little prediction. I think the ceiling of this team is 11, 12 wins. I think realistically, I'm going with 10 just because it is a tough schedule. But I think 10 gets you in the playoffs, and that's all we need with Jaden Daniels, a little spot in the playoffs to run at the Super Bowl. So I appreciate y'all. Catch you next time. Peace.